r/ask Reddit. What's the dumbest thing you were paid to do and how much were you paid? $175 to do some kind of user study at Netflix. I show up in the lobby and then they go, "Actually, we got the data we needed from the studies earlier today. You're free to go." Still got paid. Got paid $40k to not show up at work. It was the financial crisis and there was a hiring freeze right before I was due to start work. The company I was to work for couldn't honor the employment contract we signed. But it was all very sudden and my would-be bosses felt bad enough about the situation that they offered me half a year's salary as a gesture of goodwill. That's how you know that would have been a great company to work for. I tutored for the 21-year-old daughter of a wealthy family and charged around $65 an hour. I warned in advance that I still charged for cancellations if there was less than 24 hours notice, but she would regularly arrange 6-hour sessions or longer, then cancel on the day. I told them and let them off the charge the first few times, but nothing changed, so I thought, duck it, woman shrugging. For 6 months or so, I was probably making an extra $400 on average per week just for cancellations. I was recently paid $25 HR to babysit a 17-year-old, not tutor or anything. I just had to make sure she was going to her virtual class when her parents weren't there. I didn't last long because of how bored I was. Oh, and I'm only 20. When I was like 20, got hired to be an assistant for some event in Hollywood. I carried one box of liquor into the place and they gave me a walkie-talkie and said they'd let me know when they needed me for anything else. Waited a while with no calls and found that next door they were holding a yoga class for AA members. Poked my head in the door and they invited me to join them. So I did. After the yoga, I went to return the walkie-talkie and the guy says, "We didn't use you at all, did we?" Got $60. I got hired for a Taylor Swift concert to be a brand ambassador for CoverGirl. She was their spokesperson, so I stood around for a few hours putting makeup and drawing the number 13 on 8-year-olds and got to hear her concert. I got to keep all the leftover makeup too. Got paid $150. I was paid to be a kind of server for a fancy outdoor dinner party. They wanted me to go around with a plate of drinks and food and offer it to people. When I get there they tell me the person they hired to cook on the grill never showed, so they wanted me to make that my priority. But I told them I didn't know how to grill anything. I was 17. The woman told me to look helpless and some man would come do it. Every man thinks he's the grill master and wants to show off. So I did, and it worked. I basically got paid to stand next to this guy and thank him every so often, and get him drinks. I got paid over $100 for just a few hours. It was pretty awesome. That guy's probably still telling the story about how he saved the day. Hang a TV, then make sure that TV worked the following day and then take the TV down the day after. Made $1,000. Do they have you deliver it somewhere afterwards? Because if so, that TV is stuffed full of drugs, bro. I used to work for a PR agency. Every month one of our clients wanted a handful of photos resized for their website. Nothing fancy, just setting the width to 500px in Windows Photo Manager. It was maybe 10 minutes of work every month. But the contract said the minimum amount of time we would charge them for was 1 day, and this was for the full team too, not just me. It must have cost them several £100 every month. I showed the client how to do it several times, and explained that they could save a lot of money doing it themselves. They didn't seem to mind. In the end I made sure I got it in writing that I'd informed them of their options and let them get on with it. I was paid $300 to move my car for a movie that was filming by my apartment. I was flown to Paris to do a compliance audit. The systems weren't set up for the audit. Couldn't get access, so spent the week being taken to restaurants and shopping. On one of the days and at the last minute the company decided to send me into London for a meeting. Literally just to meet people. I missed the Eurostar because I forgot my passport. Totally blanked that I was entering another country. They had to rebook the Eurostar. Nothing was achieved out of this trip. No audit was completed. Nothing came of the meeting. The cost to the company $25k plus for me to do nothing for a week. Corporate money is ridiculous money. My wife's company had a fiscally great year because the mucky mucks weren't gallivanting all over the globe on business travel. Got paid $300 to shovel my neighbor's front steps and driveway while she was away on vacation all winter. It did not even flurry once. Highway robbery, but good for you. I think you mean driveway robbery. Earned €700 monthly for an internship which consisted of me sitting around all day, waiting for work which wouldn't come because the company ducked up the internship offer and accidentally hired someone they didn't need at all. So basically I was being paid to take the train in the morning and then back in the evening. 25 years ago, and in Indiana, the law was that in order to operate nail salon, someone there must hold a full cosmetology license, not just a nail technician license. A nail salon opened next to the hair salon I worked at and they all held nail technician licenses, and the one who held a cosmetology license would be delayed in career for a week for whatever reason. At 18 years old, I was paid $25 an hour merely to sit in the nail salon as the holder of the license. I answered no phones, tended to no clients, did nothing but paint my own nails repeatedly and watch TV for an entire week. Was a sweet gig. I'd like to stress to the readers that $25 25 years ago is closer to like $40.45 today. Even if inflation wasn't a thing, that still would have been really damn awesome. I got asked to do 2 hours of barrier watch, guarding a barrier ribbon while a crew did x-rays inside a power plant. This was asked last minute after a 12-hour shift, so the bonuses of staying happening to be a Sunday. ETC, I was being paid $110 to stand and play on my phone and make sure nobody tried to pass all the do not enter danger signs during a time of day with minimal personnel. In all fairness, no matter how obvious the danger and the amount of signage you put up, no defense will ever be idiot proof. So having someone stand there and make sure no one is dumb enough to ignore all the signs isn't the worst investment. Cheaper than paying some dumbasses medical bills. Okay, this wasn't a job or anything, but I got $10 to eat half a watermelon. When I was younger, my geography teacher realized I was the only one paying attention. Second last class on a Friday. Most people were antsy, so he stopped in the middle of his lecture once and said, "I'll give all the change in my pockets to anyone who can repeat back to me what I've been saying this past minute." He tried a few of my other classmates for fun, but the most they could guess was a general topic. He got to me and I was able to recite what he was talking about, and he gave me all his change. I got paid enough money for a carton of chocolate milk and a scone for paying attention. $1,325. The guy wanted a drawing of his pony having sex with a bunch of balloons shaped like various cartoon characters in a massive collage. My rate charges per character per fetish, and he came to me fully prepared to dump $1,500 on the complete commission after adding it all up himself. I gave him a discount since even I felt like it was insanity. I probably should have charged the full amount since it did end up taking me 2 weeks to do on and off just from burnout at drawing the same style balloon over and over, just in different shapes. But that was definitely the most silly dumb commission I've ever had. Or at least the most I've been commissioned for something dumb silly. Some 20 something years ago, I was 16 and working for a startup pizza place. The owners had no idea what they were doing in the beginning. They just wanted to sell pizzas. Went on to become a major chain, making the owners pretty wealthy. This takes place in Europe. So, I delivered pizza. There was a fee of the equivalent of $4 for each pizza, plus tips. Well, there was a lot of demand, and it was a small place, so you could deliver multiple pizzas within a 15-minute period. So, on busy nights I could make $50 an hour, sometimes more. After a year or so, the owners figured out that the delivery boys were making more money than them, and changed it to $10 an hour, which is not bad, but most of us quit anyways. Still to this day one of the better paying jobs I have ever had. I delivered pizzas. This was in like the late 1980s. I remember. $6 HR, plus tips. In a fancy neighborhood $1.03 per pizza was not unusual. Plus gas money. Plus free pizza at the end of the night. If you include the cost of the free pizza, I was making easily 4-5 times minimum wage. Had to have a car, and buy gas, and take the risk of driving and all that. But it was great money. I did an event for a National Association for Deaf People at which they did every presentation in ASL. I am an audio engineer who specializes in live sound and concerts. I did nothing for 5 days off show. $450 a day. Not me, but I work at a gas station and a lady paid a couple kids $20 to just go in and prepay her gas for her. It was like a minute walk and she paid these kids $20 for it. Like damn, I would have done it for free. TBF. I do this sometimes with kids. It gives them a way to make money without making it out to be like charity. This happens to me a lot. I do computer stuff on the side and I charge 150.00h. One time someone wanted me to make all their cables under their desk all pretty since they saw my job on their server rack. I was like, you do realize you are going to pay me $150 an hour to do this? And they said, just do it. Easy money. Finally seeing your cables completely are untangled is pretty rewarding though. I'm an engineer and I used to work for a consulting firm. One of our clients wanted us to build them a weather station on one of their sites. We sent them the spec for how to do the base. These towers sit on a concrete base and have guy wires that also need to be anchored to the ground. And the client was like, we'd really rather you just did the whole thing. So my co-worker, a scientist, and I had to do all the work ourselves. Dig the holes, build the forms, mix concrete in a wheelbarrow and pour it, finish it, etc. We were both billed out at $150 an hour to do work that laborers could have done for half that, and the laborers almost certainly would have done a better job. Building work at $150 HR started in 1989, and some say is going on until this day. I got paid fairly nicely for a couple of months to sit in an office and browse the web for 7 hours and 50 minutes a day and do mail merge for the other 10 minutes. This was literally my sole duty. Got paid $10k to leave an apartment because it was sold, a new owner wanted to move in. I was tenant, renter, under previous owner. I had 4 months left in my rental contract. This was in Spain, Barcelona. Computer repair person. Have been paid several times to push the power button. I got paid $300 to pretend to dance at a crowded party for a Verizon commercial. I was paid $100 per week to check on my university professor's guinea pig while she was on sabbatical in another country for 2 months. I had to go in each day and check on it and take care of it. Instructions were to buy it organic romaine lettuce and baby carrots to eat. Clean the cage once a week, and the best part, I had to give it his wrapped Christmas gifts on Christmas Eve. Open them in front of him and take pictures of him with his new toys and treats to send to the professor. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.